Now on Fox 17, stories of youth.
I already have my mindset on changing.
And adults.
We can pretty much work with each other and help each other while we're out here.
Working to make their lives better.
I didn't want to come, but I'm here because I know that there's work to be done, and I'm willing to get the work done.
While helping those around them.
I think me also becoming a police officer is going to help that.
Proving it's never too late to find a path forward.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Janice Allen. And I'm Janie Sherrod. With a recent rise in youth crime, Fox 17 has made it our mission to be a part of the solution through storytelling. Over the next hour, we'll introduce you to young people changing their lives, community leaders making a difference, and show you the resources that can help people in West Michigan find their own path forward. First, we go to Julie Dunmeyer, who introduces us to a former Kia boy who's now working to turn his life around.
At one point, 15-year-old Jalen Kendricks called the Kent County Juvenile Detention Center behind me home. Jalen is no stranger to a hard life. He has already lost more than one friend and multiple loved ones to gun violence here in Grand Rapids. But at this point, he says he's ready to make a change.
For Jalen Kendricks, life is a series of small choices and little moments that lead to big decisions with huge consequences.
We can go fishing or something. Like, you know, we don't always got to be in stolen cars. We don't always got to have guns and stuff like that. Like, you know, we can do normal people stuff.
At 15 years old, Jalen knows more about the justice system than most will learn in their lifetime.
Like right now, I got a prison number over my head. Like, if I do anything from now between 21, I'm going to prison.
But Jalen is choosing differently, still paying for choices he made in what he calls his younger years.
I was 14, on probation, stolen car, gun, all type. So we was just like, I don't know. I was doing a lot of stuff that I need to be doing.
Probation for a case that made Fox 17 headlines more than a year ago.
You know the Kia boy stuff?
I do.
Yeah, I was doing that. I was doing that for a while before it caught up to me, though.
Jalen caught up in the wrong crowd, stealing cars, part of the Kia boys. Jalen now working daily to undo the past, saying he's changed his ways after 4 months in a juvenile placement program in Kent County. And more life changes are on the way, positive changes Jalen is looking forward to. He'll become a young father this November.
My baby, that's really about it. And that I can help people. Like, me helping people is like me being somebody I wish that I would have had. Like especially like all the younger people that's younger than me, it makes me feel like not a father figure, but like a big brother.
Big brother, a title Jalen is no stranger to, but it's the loss of his little brother that started his downward spiral that led to his arrest in the first place.
When he died, it was just like I really didn't care no more.
With another case where Jalen's family made Fox 17 headlines. The death of Jamarian McCuller, a 13-year-old middle schooler, shot and killed in Kentwood. Jamarian, Jalen's little brother.
And then that's when like everything just started like crumbling from there.
Jamarian was killed on March 12, 2022. By July, Jalen was arrested and charged with multiple felonies.
I don't know, that just pushed me to the edge, I could say.
By Christmas Day 2022, he was released from placement programming, ready to make a change.
I had counseling, so that, I ain't gonna lie, that helped a lot. The little counseling. My counseling girl, like she was real cool. Like she'd just sit there and listen. Like that's all I really needed for real was somebody to listen. And that's what she was doing, so that helped me cope with a lot of stuff, get a lot of stuff off my chest when I was in there.
Now he prefers fishing.
Ain't y'all tired of going to jail? Well, you can't see no women, can't get no money, you can't do nothing in there. Ain't y'all tired of that? I know I am.
Saying he's been given the chance to make better choices, and that chance is one he isn't taking for granted.
I already kind of had my mind set on that before all that even happened. I already had my mind set on changing, so.
Jalen says 4 months in juvie was enough time in the justice system. He never plans to go back. People who have helped Jalen stay on a right path or on a better path since getting out are the folks at the Michigan Street Tropical Smoothie. They give him a job, make sure that he's got plenty of things to do, keep his free time busy with work. He's also received help from Jamar Sterling with Community Kids, a local nonprofit leader, to mentor him through the process and through life to make sure that he is not going to make the mistakes he once made. Now he says he's ready to pass those lessons on to other young people his age. Reporting in Grand Rapids, Julie Dunmeyer, Fox 17 News.
Well, as back to school season continues, much of our focus has been what's going on inside of the classroom. But today, we're going to look outside the classroom. A new national survey now showing a record number of youth committing crime between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock in the after school hours. I headed to Wyoming. Police Department actually did a ride along with one of their officers on one technique that they're doing to combat it.
7710, go ahead. Bottom dollar general on 28.
Wyoming police officer Jack Tromp settling in for his shift with the Community Services Unit.
I work 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., so the afternoon time.
He's one of several patrols on the streets for this special unit aimed at addressing specific issues the city is now seeing once school lets out.
Typically, we get busier in the afternoon hours, afternoon evening time.
Youth crime, one of those issues that the city is focused on tackling. As Officer Tromp says, offenders are getting younger and committing more serious crimes in Wyoming.
Most of the time it's property crimes, B&Es of businesses or larcenies. We also see larceny from automobiles. Quite often we see stolen vehicles.
In late spring, the city passed a millage, allowing the police department to hire 14 additional officers, many for this unit to address serious crimes, often now being committed by the area's younger residents when they come out of school. The city's seeing more guns on streets, dangerous traffic violations, and breaking and entering.
Do you want a sticker?
Part of the Community Services Unit also entails getting out of the cop car and meeting with the youngest residents.
The youth are the future of the community, and my ultimate goal is to have a strong relationship between the police and our community. If a juvenile has seen, or a teenager has seen, only bad things about a police officer, they're going to be more hesitant to interact with a police officer.
He says just as important as the extra boots on the ground is spending time getting to know the people that he serves in hopes a simple conversation now
Have a good day.
could lead to less crime later in life. For Fox 17, I'm Elliot Grandia.
The relationship between police and their community is one that takes a lot of work.
The kids get to see firsthand who we are as people.
Coming up, how Grand Rapids police are working to connect with young adults and showing them not only how police officers serve, but how teens could someday help protect their community as well.
If we can get the young kids or the young community members to notice that we're trying to do stuff that's right and good out here, they can take that to their home. They can take that to the community, and they can actually start to change minds.
A program called Pathways to Policing in Grand Rapids aims to strengthen the relationship between law enforcement and kids in the community. And as I stand here in front of GRPD, I want to introduce you to one teenager who's gone through the program and is ready to make a difference. When 16-year-old Kyla Prude isn't dancing, she's at home watching a classic her mom introduced her to, Law and Order.
So we used to watch it just right here on this couch. She used to put it on. I used to just be very interested in it for some reason.
After many marathons, the series cracking down on crime became her favorite too.
And then I started watching it more and more on my own, and then I started getting interested in being a detective to help domestic and rape victims. It's just something I've always wanted to do.
Kyla found out about a program called Pathways to Policing through her school. She decided to check it out and see what the job was really like. The experience opening her eyes to more than she expected.
I always had mixed feelings about police officers because, you know, as a black person, you know, it's always scary to confront a police officer because, you know, what's going on in the world right now. But I also see it as they're just trying to help.
The 13-week program includes mentoring, hands-on training, test prep, mock interviews, and life development skills. GRPD Officer Ray Erickson oversees it all.
With a program like this, the kids get to see firsthand who we are as people, because we're with them for a couple of hours. We interact, we have meals together. They get to learn about the way we do our job and kind of the why we do our job too.
Changing their perspective on policing and hopefully inspiring the next generation of police officers.
And then they can kind of strive to be, in these shoes, and later down the road we'll be able to build a better police force that actually comes from our community.
After I went through the program, they're all friendly, like they're all just normal people too. And I think that's what I want more Black people to know too. And I think me also becoming a police officer is going to help that.
The program strengthening her passion of one day becoming a police officer and working her way up to a detective to help domestic abuse and rape victims, just like some of her favorite characters from the show.
It was a lot in my family, abuse, and it's just something I want to help people with.
At just 16, she's already graduated high school and plans to attend Grand Valley State University's Police Academy, something Pathways to Policing has greatly prepared her for.
Even if you don't want to be a police officer, I think you should still attend the program to see what it's like, to see what police officers go through in a day, and to just tell you like their side, basically.
Pathways to Policing is a grant-funded program in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Grand Rapids for ages 13 to 17. The next session starts mid-January.
Our main thing is no more victims.
Recidivism rates, or going back to prison after already serving time, are at a little more than 20% in Michigan. But there is hope. The Grand Rapids Police Department and the Michigan Department of Corrections has a group that beats that statistic. CLEAR is a support group for men after they leave the prison system. Our Julie Dunmeyer sat in on a meeting as they work to change their lives for the better.
I've been coming to CLEAR since the group started in 2010.
Behind this door, there's a room full of regular guys, and almost everyone has a regular job. Some wear suits, but what they all have in common is a goal.
I come back here for myself because, to me, dealing with a lot of guys that come out of the system, they have problems just like I have them. And so if we communicate with each other about our problems and differences, we can pretty much work with each other and help each other while we're out here.
Ross Hayes is the group leader, and like everyone else in the room, Ross has paid his debt to society and still working to be better every day.
No more what? Victims!
They all share a societal label they collectively prove can be different. Group members of CLEAR, which stand for Coalition Leadership Education, Advice, Rehabilitation, say that their time in prison doesn't define them. It's what they're doing now. And together, they're proving a statistic wrong.
For individuals who come here on a regular basis, we have a near 100% rate of success. So, and by success, I mean no recidivism. They're not going back into the criminal justice system.
When I felt like making a poor decision, I could come and speak to the guys here, and they would hold me accountable.
CLEAR boasts an almost 0% reoffending rate, way lower than the average recidivism rate of 26% in Michigan. And it's a simple solution: peer support.
That level of accountability doesn't exist in everyday relationships, let alone with guys that are coming out in this type of environment. So that really helped to give me the right direction and guidance.
Just keep growing.
An important space for members of society who may be overlooked, now walking with one another through life on the other side of the prison system.
We're able to keep it real and call you on BS. That's where it formulates from. It may not seem like that's how we get there, but that's how we get there. That's the real world.
In Grand Rapids, Julie Dunmeyer, Fox 17 News.
That's what I want for my people, to know that, hey, because our ancestors can, we have a right. But let's do it right.
A right to do it right. Coming up, how one Grand Rapids man is taking time to teach and train people about gun safety so they can take an extra second to think about the Second Amendment.
This year alone, the Grand Rapids Police Department has seen more than 300 weapons laws violations. That includes people who have used, sold, carried, or transported weapons illegally. I spoke with one local man who says he's making it his mission to reduce those numbers and teach his community how to do the right thing.
Now, the reason we do this here at My Brother's Keepers, because one of the biggest things is it get them more comfortable, more confident, and learn how to hold a firearm.
Meet Reverend Willie Anderson.
I mean, this is a right, not a privilege. A cell phone is a privilege. The First and Second Amendment is your right to bear arms and right to carry. And you know, one of the signs I have right here say, I carry proudly because my ancestors can. And that's what I want for my people to know that, hey, because our ancestors can, we have a right. But let's do it right.
He is a certified CPL trainer and the CEO founder of My Brother's Keeper, the first black-owned gun shop in Grand Rapids.
I started this My Brother's Keepers because I believe the guy gave to me that our people perish from the lack of knowledge. He was talking about the community of color community, because when it comes to firearm safety and training, we more afraid of it.
He grew up in New Jersey and didn't have the education or training that he has today, but he knows there were plenty of guns.
The bad guys had them, or the good guys, which was the cops, or your Uncle Joe, better not tell Mom I got this firearm. And then when we did hear about the firearm, it was always in a negative light.
Today, he's hoping to make all the gun owners the good guys and girls by showing them how to use a firearm in the right way.
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
I just don't put a firearm in your hand. I train you, I teach you, because a single mom come in, she have no clue about the firearm. She get the weapon and then she take it home and now she like stuck on, so what I do with this? Before she walk out with my sword, she know how to load it. I got a simulator over here, I'll show you in a little bit. Well, I put it through some training, some tests, when to shoot, when not to shoot, you know, what we're looking for, how to make sure that you're safe.
And another big part of Reverend Willie's mission, passing out free gun locks to the community.
It's so tragic. We losing our kids because parents, and I'm talking to you parents now, failed to lock your weapon up properly, failed to put it away safely. And free locks. I mean, I can't say free so much. We passing out free locks. I'll train you how to put it on. And this don't just work for handguns. It works for all of them, the AR-15, the rifles. This one size fit all.
And beyond just locking them up, he says children need training just like adults do.
We teach them how to use a hammer. They don't take the hammer and turn the TV on. And the reason we don't have scissor stabs is in school. We pass them out in schools because we teach them how to use those tools. The firearm is a tool. And I truly believe if we teach our children how to use that firearm, how to use that tool, we'll have less shootings in the neighborhood because they have more respect for it.
That is why My Brother's Keeper is also offering free training to students 17 and under, plus reduced rates for families. And a lot of it is done on a simulator with real-world situations.
If you pull that trigger, whether you're right or wrong, it still could cost you. It still could cost you. But training will make me more right than wrong. And that's why we do the training.
And the more training someone has, the more comfortable and confident they will be with their firearm. He wants to be a role model to the black and brown community and beyond, as a gun owner who never stops learning or teaching.
Oh, hey, you do got someone in the community that love you and want to love on you and get you the most healthy, most correct way to carry a firearm. Because I want my community to be safe, but the right way. You know, I want my community to be safe the right way.
For Fox 17, I'm Michelle Dunaway.
We've been reporting that youth crime has been on the rise, but by just how much? Well, I dug through the police data and found that youth crime impacts more than just the families directly involved. Hospital workers have had to deal with a lot of stressors since COVID-19, and now they have a new one. More children in their emergency departments.
After seeing the wrath of COVID-19, full beds and empty supply closets, we all now understand that working in a hospital is no easy task. But even though COVID is behind us, the daily stresses of working in an emergency department remains for the staff.
They deal with a lot of trauma, a lot of drama. It's never the same, but it's a very busy and chaotic environment.
Steve Palega is the chief nursing officer at UM Health West. Before that, he worked at a level 1 pediatric trauma center. And before that, he was in the Navy. And his time serving reminds him of what he deals with in a hospital setting right now.
That's a little similar to military experience, I guess. It's just that maybe some of the chaos and the unknown.
And the chaos stings just a little more when it's young kids in those hospital beds there because of violent crime. UM Health West Emergency Department Director Carrie Kloosterman notes that they do typically notice an uptick in crime this time of year.
I
think as the weather gets nicer, we always do see an increase in violence, unfortunately.
But I look through the data, and this is bigger than just these few summer months. We requested data from multiple police departments to see youth crime rates year over year. In Wyoming, where Health West is located, there were 24 victims of juvenile crime in 2021. That's everything from murder, rape, broken bones, and other major and minor injuries related to those 18 years old and younger. But take a look at the next 2 years. That number jumps to 44 in 2022, and even though we're only halfway through 2023, the number of juvenile crime victims is already at 51. For the staff, seeing children in those kinds of situations and seeing more of them is hard.
As a former trauma nurse, it always hit harder when you kind of identify with that patient as this could be my son, this could be my daughter.
To help staff decompress, the hospital has implemented the Critical Incident Stress Management Program, or CISM, so those traumas don't get carried over into their personal lives.
It's a real-time debriefing of traumatic events. So anytime we have something that's very traumatic to our staff, we pull in a CISM debriefer and we provide them the opportunity to talk through that right there. And that's helped them quite a bit.
And over the last 18 years, Carrie has never seen anything quite like this. The uptick in youth violent crime and the debilitating mental health of our kids.
My hope is that we can continue to find resources and give resources to help through this.
Resources that can be utilized by children and their families, and resources available to healthcare professionals as they too are impacted by what's going on in our community. I also requested data from the Grand Rapids Police Department and the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. The GRPD data is incomplete, as the department did not provide us with the number of rapes this year. But take a look at the complete number of injuries, assaults, and homicides related to violent crime in 2021 and 2022, jumping by 12 from 2021 and 2022. You do have to remember Grand Rapids has a much larger population than Wyoming. Now look at the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety data, a different trend than Grand Rapids and Wyoming. 55 youth victim injuries in 2021. Again, that's everything from broken bones to internal injuries. 44 in 2022 and 26 as of May of this year. Now, there have been more injuries since May, including homicides, but for consistency purposes, these numbers only go up to May. And that is encouraging news. And if you're a medical professional and you need resources or assistance, the CDC has resources for you up on their website. All that information is up on ours, fox17online.com. Reporting in Wyoming, Rudolph Sinaida, Fox 17 News.
In East Park Manor in Muskegon Heights, the reality of gun violence often hits too close to home.
I feel like it's going through my window. Like the gunshots going through my window because I can hear it really good.
Coming up, as the neighborhood kids face very adult problems, their community is working to create a safer place to play.
Coming up, the story of one man who knows the impacts of gun violence all too well, how he's taking his own tragedy and helping others in Kalamazoo make a difference.
East Park Manor in Muskegon Heights is known as the projects by the people who live here. But those same people are doing everything they can to make it a safe place for kids to play. Our Julie Dunmeyer spoke with a group of kids about the gun violence that surrounds them.
It's a beautiful day at East Park Manor in Muskegon Heights. A beautiful day to play.
Fun? Is it fun? Yeah, it's fun.
But these kids, most younger than 13, are faced with very adult problems. Kids like 9-year-old Alex Glenn hear gunshots nightly.
It feels like it's going through my window. Like the gunshots going through my window because I can hear it really good. They should stop shooting through the projects.
We've got permission to talk with these kids from their parents because these kids say their time being silent is done. Mariah Burks Davis is 11. She looks over her shoulder everywhere she walks.
Like my cousin, he died from a gun. My uncle, he died from a gun. Now I can't be outside for real because they want to shoot.
And Alice Wild is nervous, but still finds time to find the fun out here on the playground.
Just a couple of days ago, we were actually here at the program, and then these cats started pulling in, and all these people that live in the area started coming in, tell us to get in the houses and like get out because there was a shooting warning and somebody said they were going to shoot.
Because amidst the reality of gun violence surrounding them, there's still a ray of hope. A summer program in the projects, run by an anti-violence nonprofit, Taking Back Muskegon. Doing just that, taking back the community they love.
So it's scary. So my mom always told me to watch my surroundings.
Julie Dunmeyer, Fox 17 News.
One person aiming to make Muskegon a safer place for kids like here at East Park Manor is Muskegon County Prosecutor DJ Hilson. Our Michael Martin sat down with him to hear about his approach and what he's personally doing to create a safer county.
As prosecutors, our role is evolving.
DJ Hilson was elected Muskegon County Prosecutor back in 2012.
A lot of our job is reactionary, where we're reacting to something that's happened because the police have investigated, and now we're being asked to charge what they've investigated. But I also see our role as prosecutors fitting in, trying to get in on the front end as much as we can in order to help prevent the crime from happening in the first place.
In his time as lead prosecutor for the county, Hilson has integrated himself into the community as much as possible, not just making quick appearances, but actually spending time with people of all walks.
It's making sure that I'm involved in the community in ways that I know that the prosecutor's office can be a voice, but also hopefully be another brain, if you will, at the table trying to solve this larger problem.
A strong believer in the importance of an education and staying in school, Hilson has maintained a focus on dealing with chronic truancy in schools.
We have seen is that those that don't finish school are more likely to turn to a life of crime as opposed to not.
And not just through enforcement.
It's Friday, so it's Bow Tie Friday. I'm here at Ross Park with some of my firefighter and police friends, and we're here to challenge you, Muskegon County youth, to the Hula Hoop Challenge.
Listen, I'm just a normal, average guy who happens to be the prosecutor of Muskegon County, but I do want people to see the other side of the fence, so to speak.
Today's challenge is dressed like a superhero, and Robin and I are going to be running around Muskegon County taking photos at various landmarks.
President of the board at Boys and Girls Club Muskegon and a member of nearly a dozen other community boards, this focus translates to the courtroom as well.
I have both juvenile and adult diversion programs, and those again are an accountability piece, but not making those folks products of the criminal justice system.
Hilson says there is an essential balance between properly responding when crimes take place and not throwing people into a system that is hard to get out of. One program he is directly involved in is Muskegon's Veterans Court.
In this case, our veterans who are coming back from areas of combat sometimes and have post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injuries, and they're coping with it in ways that they shouldn't be.
Veterans who qualify, and most do, are able to take part in a specialized 18-month program that also connects them with the VA benefits they're entitled to but might not be using.
The goal of the court is to obviously help them navigate the criminal justice system using the resources at their disposal from both the VA as well as local resources to treat whatever it is that is ailing them.
His office, despite their heavy workload, always finding new ways to pursue a safer Muskegon County.
I think we have just as much impact in being involved in things that can be very proactive in crime solving or crime stopping, if you will, as well as reacting. Because that's always going to be part of our job.
Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
According to Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety, there have been 15 homicides since August of this year. 2 of those victims were under the age of 18. As crime goes up in Kalamazoo, we spoke with one man faced with helping the youth understand the impact of gun violence just one day after losing his own brother.
He always made sure I was good, even though I'm his older brother. He always called me and checked up on me. We loved him very much.
Percy Gordon knows firsthand the impact of a bullet without one ever hitting him.
It's not easy for me. hearing this day by day and then it happening to me is like, wow.
After losing his brother, attending Urban Alliance's Life Camp was a hard choice.
I didn't want to come, but I'm here because I know that there's work to be done and I'm willing to get the work done.
The camp gives children resources and tools to turn away from violence. It's meant to be fun and educational, with games and team building exercises.
You guys were tangled and you guys cannot get out unless you work together, right? We need to be together as one in all of Kalamazoo.
Kids also had the opportunity to hear from peers, parents, and KDPS about how gun violence has impacted them and write a letter to a shooter.
They're actually writing this letter to an individual who may be contemplating pulling the trigger or an individual that has pulled the trigger, and they're writing this letter as if that individual was standing right in front of them.
James Harris is Urban Alliance's outreach manager. He says the letters are about compassion and not condemnation.
We have to keep putting in the work, and we cannot allow that to frustrate us.
He believes some of the reasons for youth violence has a lot to do with music they listen to, lack of role models, abandonment issues, and internalizing generational trauma.
We're out here because we feel responsible for the atmosphere that's in our community. You know, so yes, our hearts are broken, and what breaks our heart has driven us to do something like this.
For future Urban Alliance events, you can visit their website, urbanalliancekalamazoo.org. Reporting in Kalamazoo, I'm Yasmin Ludi, Fox 17 News.
When someone re-enters society after serving time, figuring out what comes next isn't easy. But for a group of researchers at Calvin University, they're trying to put resources right at your fingertips.
Just knowing what's out there and having that all in one place for someone to be able to see, I think makes a world of a difference.
Just ahead, the Returning Citizens Map and how it's helping people chart a new path forward.
At times, we don't always get the level of cooperation that we would hope for, whether it be a victim or witnesses that aren't willing to talk to the police. So there's a number of different things that come into play that will have an impact on that clearance rate.
An important part of a path forward is transparency from law enforcement. Kent County and Grand Rapids both have dashboards with live data updated regularly. Many other agencies often release info in annual reports. The Sheriff's Office updates its data once a month. As you can see, the analytics are right at your fingertips to where you're able to understand a little bit about the crimes that are going on in your area. If you want to focus on person or property, you can understand that by just going to their dashboard. You can see the work that's being done, but you can also see the work that needs to be done.
It's our responsibility to show to the public what it is that we're doing with the resources that they pay through their taxes.
Transparency and accountability, something police data sets can show the public.
So Micro is just a data warehouse that police agencies send in order for the state to collect and then publish as far as crime stats for different police agencies.
Every year, Michigan incident crime reporting data is released in an annual report showing a snapshot of crime in the state. Locally, we also have more real-time data at the ready.
We have dashboards for our response times. We have dashboards for our clearance rate. We have dashboards for our jail data.
The Kent County Undersheriff Chuck DeWitt explains his office posts current numbers on its website because it's information residents are entitled to.
It's an initiative to be transparent with the public.
The information goes back as far as 2018. However, let's look at the year to year. From January of 2022 to this year, Kent County had around a 31% clearance rate, a rate which mainly is the number of cases where an arrest is made following an investigation.
So how could we better get that number higher?
So, we can start with the easy one and just say resources. Obviously, if we had more resources to be able to devote to the investigation of crimes, the greater the likelihood that we will be able to solve that case. Technology plays a big factor in those types of investigations. We've seen recently some big improvements in the realms of DNA.
The numbers differ drastically from case to case. The more violent crimes like assaults, criminal sexual conduct, and stalking often see an arrest around half of the time.
Stop, please!
Property crimes like stolen vehicles, shoplifting, and damaging property are often left unsolved, with just a 16% clearance rate this past year.
Juvenile crime right now is absolutely contributing to an increase in the number of total incidents that we're investigating. And unfortunately, right now, we're not as successful being able to apprehend them.
State numbers also show a similar trend. The latest report by Michigan State Police show in 2021, they solved around 12% of property crimes. Stolen cars are one of the many issues that go without an arrest. While those numbers can seem troubling, DeWitt says, don't give your hopes up. Always report a crime.
Depending on the type of crime, there's going to be a higher emphasis on devoting resources to that crime. And I will guarantee you, if it's never reported, it will never be solved. And so my suggestion would be always call if you are a victim of a crime, report that case, because information in your case could absolutely close your case, but also lead to resolving several other crimes if in fact it's a pattern crime.
And remember, if you're not comfortable with sharing your identity during a report, you can also anonymously inform Silent Observer about a crime. And in Grand Rapids, police have taken an approach to collaborating with neighbors to help solve cases. You can actually register your homes or your business security cameras so GRPD can access the footage when investigating a crime. They note that video cameras would not be actively monitored by the department and remind people to not investigate crimes on their own. I'm Matt Whitkos, Fox 17 News.
A central mission of Calvin University is restorative justice. For years, they've helped inmates get a degree through the Calvin Prison Initiative, and now they've created another tool.
This is the Calvin Returning Citizens Map. It's an interactive webpage that lets you focus in on where you live to see all of the available resources at your fingertips while helping people chart their own path forward.
So this is our Returning Citizens Map.
A map to a new path in life.
You can find it really just by even Google searching like Calvin University Returning Citizens Map.
With a passion for restorative justice.
When you open it, there's a map of Michigan, all the 83 counties are seen here.
Calvin University student researchers Cora and Ethan.
The map legend shows what each thing corresponds to.
Are helping people re-enter society, one dot at a time.
And you'll start to notice all of these different dots.
In 2018, a group of students and Dr. Dindal created the Returning Citizens Map to address an informational gap.
When people get out of prison, they face a lot of distinctive challenges and they have particular kinds of needs.
And often one of the first steps forward is a new job.
One of the things we try to do is find employers who have a track record and even policies in place where they say we will support returning citizens to whatever extent we can when they get out.
The map also connects them to things like housing, food, and clothing.
Sometimes those two things, housing and employment, show up on the map in close proximity. So somebody who maybe has a transportation challenge can live near where they work. And we want to show all of those opportunities on the map.
And with the help of the Michigan Department of Corrections, the map covers all 83 counties in Michigan.
So they have reentry coordinators, and they use the map almost every day when they're talking to people who are coming out of prison.
And now it's up to people like Cora and Ethan to maintain the map, and it's more than 3,000 dots.
We need to, see if this organization still exists, see if their address is still the same, see if their contact information has changed. Often calling them to see if that information is correct and to verify that they're still offering the service that is friendly to a returning citizen.
This has historically been a group of people who have been disenfranchised, discriminated against, especially with employment. It's really hard for them to find employment. So in any way I can aid it, even if it's just through Googling all day, it's well worth my time.
And it's Google searches that neither of them take lightly.
Kind of like standing on the shoulders of giants, because there are a lot of people who did most of the heavy lifting before me. I just get to inherit like the amazing map that we have.
Just knowing what's out there and having that all in one place for someone to be able to see, I think makes a world of a difference.
Again, this is a focused in look at Grand Rapids and Kent County. The map can show you things like permanent housing, transitional housing, legal counseling, and even food and clothing assistance. And you can click on a particular location and see exactly what that location has to offer. We have a link to this map on our story on our website at fox17online.com. Reporting in the studio, I'm Josh Berry, Fox 17 News.
Throughout our Path Forward initiative, we want to connect people with whatever resources they need. But we also want to show what success can look like.
Nothing more rewarding than young people who come back and just share the most memorable experiences or kind of how they've grown from our program.
How a Grand Rapids couple is showing kids that they have endless opportunities still ahead. Showing kids and young adults what's possible in life is vital to finding a path forward. A Grand Rapids husband and wife have created a nonprofit to show kids that they have endless opportunities to succeed. We dropped in on a mentoring session here at the Baxter Community Center to see what it means to some of those students.
Everyone is a nurturer on their own.
Every Wednesday, Alvin Hills IV and his wife Tanel are planting seeds, helping young people grow.
We know that the issue is very large when it comes to challenges that our young people face, and we simply want to be a community resource that young people could come to, ask questions, be introduced and exposed to new things.
Inside the Baxter Community Center, these teens meet each week for different activities, games, conversation, getting support, and knowing someone cares. Endless Opportunities is a nonprofit that sprung from a love story after Tanel and Alvin met at Western Michigan University.
We just simply want to create an organization that could walk alongside parents and help students navigate life after high school. Once we moved back home in 2014, then we were able to actually put down roots and set up a formal mentoring program for young people.
Like the name, Endless Opportunities aims to show these kids anything is possible.
I wanted to put the, help young people understand that opportunities come to you in the form of work. It may come in dressed up as it may take you out your comfort zone, but nonetheless, it's an opportunity.
Ever since 7th grade, I've been here.
Grand River Prep senior Samari Ingram is making the most of her opportunities.
I love that we get in touch with ourselves, like the self-evaluation, doing vision boards, and also going on walks, teaching us how to just be more evolved and one with ourselves and learning what's going on in the world.
She's discovered a love of volunteering during her time here and is dual enrolled at Davenport University. Wyoming high school freshman Caleb Murray admits he was bored at first, but that's not the case anymore.
I enjoy the topics we talk about and the college tours we go on.
Every year, Endless Opportunities holds a speed networking event, evaluating students on their attire, handshake, and small talk. There's also an annual etiquette dinner, college tours, and trips to get involved in the community.
There's nothing more rewarding than young people who come back and just share the most memorable experiences or kind of how they've grown from our programming.
The growth not just for the teens, but these mentors as well.
It has opened a lot of doors for me. I was a shy state, I don't say much, and so wanting the kids to speak out, as the adult, you have to use your voice too to show them that their voice is worthy of being heard.
Tiffany Fant works with the young women alongside her best friend Tanel.
I just think it's cool to see them evolve, and that's what really keeps me going, is knowing that we're playing a role to help these kids evolve if they want to. And it's just beautiful to see it.
Like these plants.
And when you plant something, you're really pouring into it.
This lesson.
You got to water it daily, and that's how we need to look at ourselves.
Alvin and Tanel are cultivating change, watching as Samari, Caleb, and thousands of other students blossom.
We're open to any young person that's willing to commit to get better. So what keeps me going is knowing that it's been more than one who has taken the message and has figured out a way to be a mentor, to contribute to, whether it's their local community or being civically engaged. But for me, the philosophy is very simple. The more people that we have engaged in this type of work, the more people that we can help, bring into the fold or, create a different perspective.
And I loved how passionate they are about this mission, a true power couple that's empowering the community. Oh yeah, we love to see it. And if you know of a group or an organization that's making a difference, we want to hear about them. Connect with us. You can email us or head to our website by scanning the QR code right there on your screen. There you can also see all of our Path Forward stories and the wide range of resources we discussed over the last hour. Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Janice Allen. And I'm Jamie Sherrod. Have a great day and stay safe.